Hey everyone, it's been a few weeks since I've posted a video. What's been happening is, we've been living up in the mountains, as I've kind of shared. We have a property up there, and being in such a small space, it's made it really difficult to find not only time but the privacy and the quiet to be able to actually post a video. And also, where we're at is a resort area, and with things opening up more and more. With COVID, there's lots more people that are converging on that resort. So it's even harder for me to get outside and find places around there where I can just speak to you guys. But as of last Sunday, we did indeed have to move back to our house. So something I probably haven't necessarily shared specifically is that my wife just finished with law school, and today was the first of 2 days of taking the bar exam. And so I'm at home, I'm with my boys, I'm hanging out, I'm working, while my wife is focusing on hopefully kicking butt on the bar exam, which I have no doubt that she's going to do. But in 2 weeks, she got offered a job with a law firm here in Boise, which is fantastic. I really couldn't be happier for her. But that really necessitated us to really move back home, get used to being back here at the house, get things ready. Figure out what's happening with our boys, since we don't really know exactly how the school year is going to go yet. So we thought it'd be best to come back home a couple weeks before all of this stuff hit to start figuring these things out. So you can see I have a new background. Unfortunately, it's not overlooking beautiful mountains or a lake or anything like that, but at least I have more privacy here at home now that I can. My goal is to be a lot more consistent because I have a way to get away into a quiet spot, carve out some time, and hopefully start a routine with posting more of these videos. So today I wanted to start by posing a question, and that is, how old were you when you realized that your family was not normal? Now, if you haven't realized it yet, I suggest that you take a look at your family, because I'm sure that there's not really a family out there that I would consider normal. But growing up in my family, it seemed normal to me, but it wasn't until I was in my early 20s when I actually did spend some time in therapy then that I started to examine things that had happened in my life, look at my upbringing, look at my mom, look at my dad, and I realized that what seemed perfectly normal to me was really anything but. And so what I really want to do is, over the course of, and I don't know how many videos it's going to take, is I just want to walk you through what my upbringing was like. How my parents met, talk about my sister, talk about what my youth was like, my teenage years were like, and just kind of walk you through all the stuff that happened. Because in order to really understand who you are today, you really have to go back and look at all those things, all those events, all those big things that happened to you, both good and bad, because that really is, it's what informs you of who you are today. And so where I want to start today is I want to go back before I was even on this earth. My mom and my dad were both living in the Phoenix area. And my mom had been previously married. So she had been married for not too long, and she got pregnant with my sister. And while she was pregnant, her husband did that totally stereotypical thing that is completely awful, is that he had an affair with his secretary while my mom was pregnant with my sister. And in the midst of this, of course, he left. My sister was born. And she was born without a father figure in her life. And to this day, she has never met her biological father. So already, before I'm even on this planet, on this earth, before I'm born, things are already not great for my mom. So I remember that she was living in a trailer, doing the best that she could with her sister. Doing the best that she could with my sister. And I remember her telling me that, her dad was pretty upset about her situation here. And my mom just did the best that she could to scrape by. So while totally stressed out, kind of figuring out what she's going to do, how she's going to support her and my sister, she decides that she's going to start dating again. And so a mutual friend introduces my mom and my dad together. They go on some dates, they hit it off to a certain degree, and so they start dating for a few months. Well, my dad was an electrical engineer working for one company in the Phoenix area. And the way that I understand it, the relationship was starting to kind of dwindle a little bit because they knew that there was a chance that he was going to be moving to take a job. And that's exactly what happened, is he ended up accepting a new job in Texas. They broke it off. He moved. And wouldn't you know, a few weeks later, my mom discovers that she is pregnant with this guy. So here she is, single mom, already has one child with one man, and now she's carrying a child from another man, and she is not married. That man is not even living in the same city as her. You can imagine the stress that she was under. She knew that if she went home to her mom and dad was going to be furious with her. He's going to wonder how she could be so irresponsible to let something like this happen. And so what does she do? She calls up my dad on the phone and she explains the situation to him. And my dad, and the only way that he knows how, because he approaches everything from a standpoint of logic and not emotion, says, "Let me think about it. Let me figure out what to do, and I'll call you back." So I don't know how long it was. I don't know if it was the same day, next day, whatever. But my dad calls back and he has a list of options of things that him and my mom can do to approach this situation. But the one that they decided on was my mom should move out and be close to him, and they should get married, and they should raise this baby, this guy, together. And so while that was a noble cause, again, you can understand the stress that my mom must be under while I'm, in her stomach. She is about to move halfway across the country to be with a man that she doesn't know particularly well, while she already is caring for one child. And so she moves out there. They ended up getting married. I grow up, and I think as early as 3 years old, I can remember just being one big happy family and having an older sister that I never really thought twice about being my half sister. And so I'm going to end this story here because my life started in a state of stress. And the more that I hear, the more that I read, the more that I look at things, I believe that the root of my own anxiety, the root of my own stress started before I was even on this planet. I can't help but believe that what my mom was going through, that stress and she's a very emotional person, that had a very profound impact on just my genetic makeup and my predisposition for stress and anxiety just coming into this world. So in the upcoming videos, I'm going to talk more about my family life and how it's anything but normal. But tell me, how did your life start? How did you come to this world? Where were your parents at when you were born? It might be something to think about, that if you're struggling with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, some of it may have started before you were even here, before there was even trauma directly inflicted on you here. So leave some comments, let me know. Let's start that conversation. That's what we're here for, is to start being vulnerable, to recognize that, you know what? Being a man, it's hard. It's really hard. And it's okay, and there's no shame in admitting that that's true. So let's talk about that. Thanks for listening. I'll have some more videos soon.